By the 1950s, 10 years after my cousin Willa Mae and her husband Johnny decided to pass for white, they had completely assimilated into white culture in Omaha. Johnny worked as an engineer for the U.S. government, while Willa Mae stayed at home with their children. As the kids grew older, they married white people and had children of their own, creating another generation of people that, unbeknownst to them, were passing. That is until I found my cousin Becky Jo, who helped me piece together the history of the Nebraska cousins. Josh and I are going to meet up with his sister Katie Lane to see how this new information has affected her sense of self, if at all. I'm hoping that their dad Mickey, Becky Jo's brother, will join us. Here we are. So who's the oldest out of you guys?
Our sister Jamie.
She lives in Kansas City.
She's probably the widest of the whole bunch.
Yes.
You know, you grow up hearing this story and everyone's like, oh, the Nebraska cousins, the Nebraska cousins, the Nebraska cousins. And I'm like, who are these people? I'm gonna find them, thanks to Google.
That's awesome.
It's pretty easy. My grandmother didn't want me to call, but I did anyway. From her perspective, it was sort of like, well, they left us, so why should we reach out? Like, the kids don't know. Maybe they want to know who their family is. Your grandma came to our family reunions in the 80s.
By yourself?
And didn't tell anybody.
Wow.
I was 9, but she was at the family reunion. So how did you find out?
Becky. It was crazy because we'd always like ask grandma questions and she'd never have like anything to say about
Like where we're from, and say we're both Bohemian.
Like, is Bohemian an actual thing? Are there any family members that have been like, I don't want to hear it?
No, not really. Yeah, besides.
When Grandma was in the home with Alzheimer's, he had mentioned it to her, and she got super defensive, closed right up, and her voice changed and got kind of angry. And, like, don't talk about it. I'm not telling anything.
So he was probably just used to that, you know, always being like, shut up. And
I was telling Josh yesterday was that uncle was the one that knew, your oldest,
John.
John. He was the only one. So he had grown up with all the black family members in Harlem. So you can imagine leaving like the blackest place in New York City and coming here and then being like, okay, we're white now. John S. Lane III died on July 7th, 2006 at the age of 68. Black family members that knew him back in Harlem said that there was no way that he didn't know that their family was black and that it was his parents that forced him to keep the secret. So your dad, man, he's a no-show today.
I think he's worried he might get upset, and he's like, I don't want to get upset at Robin when I should be mad at my madre.
Is that what he said?
Ish, in a roundabout way.
he was like, can you ask Robin where my dad was born? And he's like, I feel like you should ask her, but, you know, he
that breaks
doesn't
my heart,
even
'cause
know,
he doesn't
like,
even
where
know.
he was like, I would have liked to know all this stuff, like, when I was 20, like, growing up, you know, but
Right.
now I feel like I'm like old and I don't need to know this stuff. But when he was in the Navy, he got in a whole bunch of fights because people would call him like mulatto. And when he was in high school, people would say that about like their family, and they'd get in fights because they were just like, no, don't say that. We're white. People would ask him like in the grocery store if he was like Egyptian. I was there one time. This lady was like, are you Egyptian or Greek or something? He's like, no, I'm just tan. I'm like, what? Why'd she ask you that, Dad?
It would have been a different experience had their parents told them.
It's crazy when you go from not knowing anything and not like thinking anything of it, and then all this new information, you're just like shocked and like excited. It makes me like wonder it and just think about how like blended everything is and how like, you know, it's not just like one thing.
Right.
It's crazy.
Does it change your relationship to black people, do you think? Like,
I mean, not really. I don't know, it just like, I don't know, it makes you think more about that we're all people.
So I try to picture all humans as a source of light, so I don't really take into consider nationalities or race or
I mean, in this
vehicle.
climate, though, for me, it's like hard not to think about race. It feels impossible.
Listening to Katie and Josh talk about race was really hard. I was hoping that learning about their true identities would inspire them to embrace their Blackness, but I could tell that that wasn't going to happen. But at least they were open to meeting me and exploring our family history of passing.
A lot of people did this. If they had the chance, it was like you're trying to do the best thing for your family in terms of getting work and jobs. And, it's a hard choice. I don't think there's a lot of people that come back together, though. I think once they're out there and lost, that's it.
That's all you, girl. Thank you.
After our meeting, Katie still had doubts that we were really related and that she had Black ancestry. A few months later, she shared her DNA results with me, proving that she is in fact 15% African. She mentioned that she shared the results with Mickey and her aunts. They were shocked to hear the truth, and although they believed it, were still holding on to their identity as white people. Before I leave Nebraska, I'm going to visit the homestead of one of my heroes, Malcolm X. I've always been inspired by his passion and love for Black people and our culture, and thought I should end this trip at the blackest spot in Omaha.
So it's my last day in Omaha. I didn't get to meet with Mickey, so that's a little disappointing. And I get it, I think this is all too much. And not so much the Blackness, but the level of betrayal that I think he's recognizing now as an adult. I've just been reflecting on well, what does that feel like now to be oh, all those years spent fighting against something which I'm sure at the time he felt was a negative stereotype is actually true. And now your parents are dead and there's nothing that you can do about it. There's no place to put your feelings. There's no place to put your anger and your frustration. I recognize how it would be hard for him to want to see me, and I was hoping to be able to bridge a connection in that way. And maybe it will happen. Maybe it's just not this trip. But I'm glad I came. I'm glad I came and I'm glad I found the Nebraska cousins. The journey continues.